Taking fluoride out of the water supply, the impact this issue is having on DeForest politics. And a man is dead after a shooting at a local gas station. The latest details as authorities search for suspects. Plus, the Labor Department releases February's jobs report. The surprising growth while hundreds are laid off by the federal government. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric is off tonight. The village of DeForest stopped putting fluoride in its water officially today, following months of back and forth. But as our Maddie Heims reports, the matter is affecting more than just the water.
Residents are still unhappy every single day.
While fluoride has now officially been removed from the village of DeForest's community water supply, the village president tells me the issue has only become more complex.
I can't imagine another issue or remember another issue that I've had so many phone calls about.
More than a month after the village board voted to stop adding fluoride to the water,
there's a lot of things that go into getting water to a house.
The Public Works Department tells me the process of supplying water, while now one step shorter, is intricate.
So we get all of our water from the Mount Simon aquifer.
4 wells placed around the village, pumping to thousands of homes.
Wherever the need is.
But Village President Jane Cahill-Wolfgram says the need has shifted.
I hear from people who want fluoride in the water and are worried about children, low-income people, worried about elderly. They want to know, what are we going to do now to help them?
And federal funding freezes have added another layer.
But the other thing that has happened, and the thing they're saying back to me, is I am on Badger Care, or I receive Medicaid or Medicare. And some of these services are no longer going to be covered. So I think they're feeling like they're between a rock and a hard place.
Hundreds of residents have signed an online petition to send the issue to referendum. But that's not the only way fluoride is forming the ballot.
It remains an issue in the forefront in this community and now is influencing the election.
Coming up on the end of her term, Cahill-Wolfgram is rerunning for her seat as village president in April. Her challenger, Bill Landgraf, a current village trustee who is vocally anti-fluoride.
It has become an issue that people are willing to run for office on and are out campaigning and doing lots to try and support candidates that support the issue.
Reporting in DeForest, I'm Maddie Heims, News 3 Now.
Thanks, Maddie. Well, it did snow earlier today, but that trend will not stick with us through the weekend, thank goodness. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is on the weather patio with more on the warm-up. Not bad tonight either.
No, we're going to be pretty seasonal tonight, and yes, we are getting a break from that wintry mess. We had 2 rounds of it this week. The latest round obviously wrapping up today, and for the weekend, we're looking at sunnier conditions, partly sunny on Saturday as well as on Sunday. Breezy at times on Sunday, but our temperatures go from the mid-40s on Saturday to the mid-50s by Sunday, and then even further into the low 60s for your Monday. So we're going to continue to warm up over the next few days. Eventually, we'll settle into the low 20s tonight, but for now, we're going to remain in those upper 20s to low 30s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Again, mostly clear conditions turning partly sunny as we go into those morning hours on your Saturday, but by 10 a.m. we should be in those mid-30s. So we're looking at a pretty seasonal night, upper teens to low to mid-20s. We are going to be talking about a big system that will not only bring the warmth back to southern Wisconsin to end next week, but could also bring us some showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms as well. That's in the full forecast.
Okay, thank you, Blaze. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating a homicide at a Pleasant Springs gas station. According to the Sheriff's Office, the shooting was reported a little after midnight this morning. It happened at the BP gas station just off I-90. A 23-year-old man was found dead at the scene. Deputies say the suspect and the victim knew each other, but it is unknown what the relationship is. The Sheriff's Office adds that there is no danger to the public.
I'm always worried that somebody will be coming in to rob us yeah. And I know there's a drug problem next door, so.
Currently, the suspects are not in custody. Detectives are looking to interview witnesses. So if you have any information, please call the Madison area Crime Stoppers. And now to an update on a deadly crash from yesterday. Madison police say they arrested a 20-year-old man on suspicion of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle and OWI causing injury. This crash happened at the intersection of Gammon Way and Raymond Road around 4 o'clock. One person was pronounced dead at the scene, and an adult and 2 children were hospitalized. Their injuries are believed to be non-life-threatening. Well, Madison is home, as we know, to one of the biggest research universities in the world. Today, hundreds of protesters met at the Capitol to, quote, stand up for science after recent cuts to the National Institutes of Health. In February, President Trump announced he would cut NIH funding. Now, these cuts are currently on pause, but researchers say they're already seeing impacts.
So we need funding. We would not be here without having the funding that we've gotten from NIH and NSF.
Researchers say that without funding, it would have taken several more months for scientists to discover vaccines for viruses for things like COVID and the flu. Government data shows hiring actually grew for a 50th consecutive month in February. The economy added 151,000 jobs last month, and unemployment ticked up just slightly to 4.1%. However, the federal government did lose 10,000 jobs as the Trump administration started shrinking the federal workforce.
They were just like, hey, come in tomorrow and turn all your stuff in. You're no longer with us.
We had too many people in government. You can't just do that. We had many too many. This is for 40 years. You know, this isn't just now.
A report from Challenger tracked more than 62,000 announced job cuts by the federal government last month, affecting 17 different agencies. Economists do not expect the full impact of these layoffs to show up until the March jobs report. A week-long boycott against shopping on Amazon has begun. The movement, started by the People's Union USA, looks to send a message, quote, loud enough to shake up the system. Organizers claim Amazon hurts small businesses and exploits its workforce. In addition to Amazon, the union is also pushing for people to avoid the other companies owned by the retail giant. Well, we're a little more than 3 weeks out from the April election, April 1st, which features a crucial race for Wisconsin Supreme Court. We've been bringing you one-on-one sit-downs with all the candidates. This week, we talked with conservative candidate Brad Schimmel. We asked him about when he decided to make the jump from Waukesha judge to now running for state Supreme Court.
And this is what's motivated me to get in the race, is we have a court that is now legislating from the bench. They don't like what the legislature has done, so they're changing it. That's a problem.
And you can see more from our interview this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on For the Record. We will have more on Schimmel's judicial philosophy and how the former Republican Attorney General plans to keep neutrality on the bench. Well, Scouting America is picking up food this weekend to help those in need. Tomorrow is the annual food drive for the Scouting for Food program. Scouts will be out and about starting about 9 o'clock in the morning to pick up non-perishable food donations left on doorsteps. Some troops will also be hosting collections events at local grocery stores. Now, all of the collected donations will be taken to food pantries in our area.
It's a matter of learning about their community, learning about the needs of their community. You know, they're going to have their eyes opened in a good way at learning about food insecurity and how they help out. And I think they're going to get excited.
And those needs are growing. According to the USDA, more than 34 million people, including 9 million children, are food insecure in the United States. Next at 10, President Donald Trump makes a rare threat to Russia. And it's been over a week since Hollywood icon Gene Hackman was found dead. The latest update from officials investigating his passing. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. We have answers tonight regarding the death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife. Authorities in Santa Fe, New Mexico say the actor died of heart disease about a week after his wife passed away from a virus. The medical examiner says it appears Betsy Arakawa Hackman died around February 11th of what's called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which is caused by contact with rodent excrement. excrement rather. 95-year-old Gene Hackman's pacemaker data stopped on February 18th, 1 week after his wife died.
The question was, what about starvation? So there was no food in his stomach, which means he had not eaten recently, but he had also no evidence of dehydration. He had significant heart disease, and I think ultimately that is what resulted in his death.
Authorities say they do not know whether Hackman was aware of his wife's death during the week before he passed away due to his severe Alzheimer's disease. A South Carolina man was executed tonight by firing squad after Governor Henry McMaster refused to grant clemency. 67-year-old Brad Sigmund killed his ex-girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat in Greenville County, South Carolina back in 2001. Tonight, 3 volunteer prison employees used rifles to fire at his heart. The prison's communications director read Sigmund's final statement during a news conference.
I want my closing statement to be one of love and a calling to my fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty. An eye for an eye was used as justification to the jury for seeking the death penalty.
Protesters and religious leaders gathered outside of the prison before the execution. Sigmund's legal team said he was very remorseful for what he did. President Donald Trump says Ukraine needs to move quickly to agree to a ceasefire and a peace deal. And he issued a rare threat against Russia in this case. The president says he is strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire is reached. Despite the threat, President Trump says he thinks Russia is ready to negotiate.
He's had a good relationship with Putin. And, you know, he wants to end the war. He wants to end it. And I think he's going to be more generous than he has to be.
After last week's derailed meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the administration is planning talks with Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia next week. Well, there is travel turmoil in France tonight. This is an interesting one, with the busiest train station in Paris shutting down. This is due to an unexploded World War II bomb that was found near the tracks. Authorities canceled all high-speed trains today running between Paris and London and Brussels. Bomb disposal experts were brought in to defuse the device, which weighs more than 1,000 pounds. Bombs left over from the First or Second World War are often found around France, but it is rare to discover them in a location packed with people. Well, a cool day makes way for a warmer weekend and even a chance of breaking into the 60s. Could this be? Meteorologist Blaise Keller has more.
That's right. We're looking at the 60s to arrive as soon as Monday, and they may return as we end next week. We'll talk about what brings back that warmth in just a moment. But looking ahead to your Saturday, mid to upper 40s, a few low 50s possible out towards parts of Crawford, Grant County, Iowa County, as well as Lafayette and Vernon County, underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Winds are going to be generally out of the west-southwest and light on Saturday, breezier on Sunday, and we're expecting those mid-50s to return to end the weekend. And then, as I mentioned, the 60s return as we go into the end of next week as a stronger system looks to move out of the plains into the Midwest. So we'll warm up through Monday. The cold front with the low-pressure system passing to our north sets our temperatures back into the 50s, mid-50s on Tuesday, low 50s both Wednesday and Thursday, and then we're back into the mid-60s to possibly our first 70s of the year on Friday. And once that system moves on through the Midwest, we're still at that time of year where we will cool off a little bit back into likely the low to mid-40s as we go into the end of your St. Patrick's Day weekend into your actual St. Patrick's Day. Until that system on Friday, you're seeing it here, not a whole lot of rain chances across southern Wisconsin. We don't see any big systems or little systems for that matter moving through the Midwest. So our attention turns to this large low pressure system as we step future track into your Saturday evening. This is going to be a large system that is going to start to move out of the plains as we go into your Friday, bringing us that chance for rain, even a few thunderstorms. And then depending on which way it it ultimately moves, whether that's more north, northeast, or east, we may see the return of a rain-snow mix. Right now, the path is north and eastward, so it's going to take this cooler air and move it north and east as well. So we may skip that real cool down and even that rain-snow mix as we go into your Sunday and then further into your St. Patrick's Day. But we will cool on down, and you can see why, because as this low-pressure system comes out of the plains, it moves the warmth northwards into parts of southern Canada, but because it's not only strong, we're still moving out of winter, so there's a lot of cooler air just off to our north in Canada. Because it's strong enough, it will pull that cooler air down. We're looking at those light blue, so some cooler air to be overhead as we go into the morning of your St. Patrick's Day. But right around the corner, more warmer air marked by the greens and yellows. So again, it's that time of year where we get that nice warm up well above normal. We cool back down below normal, and then we warm back up again very quickly as these systems really capitalize on these dynamic air masses. The warmth from the Gulf and then the cooler air from Canada really does allow these systems to strengthen quickly. So mid-50s on Sunday when we spring forward, 60s on Monday, quiet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we're looking at 60s to return, as well as that chance for maybe some evening showers and thunderstorms Friday into your following Saturday.
And coming up in sports, Game 1 won. How Wisconsin got it done in Columbus. That's next on News 3 Now. Wisconsin women's hockey has had pretty good memories playing in Amsoil Arena during the postseason. The last time the Badgers skated in Duluth during a tournament, they won a national championship. Stakes not as high today, but there's still a trophy up for grabs. Wisconsin taking on Duluth in the WCHA Final Face-Off semifinals. Badgers down one in the first, but not for long. Kelly Gorbatenko deflects one in front of the net to tie this one up at 1. Then in the second period, Casey O'Brien feeds Caroline Harvey, and Captain KK sends a snipe bar down to put UW up for good. Badgers win 3-1 and will play for another tournament championship tomorrow afternoon against Minnesota. The Badger men also in conference tournament play. Wisconsin taking on Ohio State in a best-of-3 series. The first period was a good one for Mike Hastings and the boys. Quinn Finley flips one up, and Rylan Mosley knocks it in, and Wisconsin has a 1-goal lead. Now, they double it in the second period. Owen Mellenbacher buries home the biscuit as Wisconsin takes Game 1, 4-1, the final. High school boys hockey, Edgewood taking on Brookfield East in the Division I state semifinals. No score in the first. Crusaders on the attack, and Dylan Lenz sneaks one through the 5-hole to light the lamp. Edgewood led 1-0 after 1. We're in the second period now. It's tied at 2, and Matt Richter goes top shelf where Mama keeps those cookies. This one would go to 3 overtimes, and Owen Cook would play hero. Edgewood moves on to the finals with a 5-4 win in triple overtime. Pro Day. A day where you run, jump, bench, and drill in the biggest job interview of your life. And that day was the day for Wisconsin football. In front of scouts from all 32 NFL teams, the Badgers put on a show and showed why taking someone from Wisconsin is a good investment for your franchise. And while the day was fun, the guys are kind of glad the testing part is all over.
Testing, nobody likes taking an ACT or anything like that. I think I love to prove people wrong, and testing and stuff like that. I've been prepping for it for 2-3 months.
It's been a whirlwind. It's definitely busy, but it's been fun. Like getting to experience everything and meeting all the new people and building those relationships. It's good. It's fun, but definitely relieved to kind of be done with all that. Now I can kind of just transition back into football mode.
The Platteville men tipping off NCAA tournament with Grinnell in the first round, and let's just say the Pioneers are ready to roll in this one. Logan Pearson gets the hoop and the harm. P. Vegas up 6 early. He finished with 19, and their lead would only grow. Later in the first half, Pioneers break the press with ease, and Lucas Ramaker muscles up the and one. Platteville led by 35 at halftime. They're on to the second round with a 125-97 win. The Whitewater women also rolled in the NCAA tournament opener. The Warhawks win 75-53. They'll face conference foe UW-La Crosse tomorrow night. And it was round 3 between Stoughton and McFarland. Winner advances to the regional finals. Vikings down early, but trying to come back. LaShawn Brown dials one up from deep to make it an 8-point game, but the Spartans could not be stopped in the paint. Eli Kruger works it down low to Ben Forbes, and he rocks the rim with the two-handed slam. McFarland moves on with a 60-59 win. We're back after this.
Tonight, Secretary Buttigieg, in your opinion, what is the state of our union?
Complicated.
Well, thanks for stopping by. Thank you so much.
CBS Tonight.
Well, don't forget it is time to spring forward because daylight saving time is near. It's Sunday. But when did this trend start? Now, we've all heard stories that Benjamin Franklin came up with the idea or that farmers could have more hours of sunlight to work in the field. But according to sleep researchers with the University of Colorado Boulder, it was first introduced in Germany back in 1916 during the First World War as an energy-saving measure. The U.S. followed suit in 1918, implementing this as a wartime measure before repealing the decision a year later. Daylight saving time was reinstituted in 1942 during World War II, and then the next couple of decades were just a free-for-all. And then the Uniform Time Act was passed in 1966 by Congress, standardizing this practice for the country, except for Hawaii and Arizona, which opted to keep standard time year-round. Are you guys fans of the back and forth, or...?
I mean, it really doesn't matter to me.
Nah, I don't care.
You don't care?
I just need to know what time it is.
Yeah,
right.
Whether I'm gaining an hour, losing an hour, I'm probably gonna sleep the exact same amount.
Right.
And probably not get good sleep.
The people who dislike it the most are those with young kids I know. But
yeah.
Mine are old.
I understand. I mean, now that everything's like digital, I mean,
everything
it kind of just all
automatically
changes. Yeah.
Right, right.
Well,
it'll be nice out.
Yeah, we do spring forward on Sunday, so keep that in mind. 40s tomorrow, maybe a few low 50s, partly sunny to mostly sunny conditions. The weekend is going to be mild, as you just saw there. 50s on Sunday, 60s on Monday.
Looks beautiful. Thank you so much. And thanks so much for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.